Well, a sense of safety and security, it's one of the most important things that we can give our children. Sometimes it's hard to do. For kids who have been affected by trauma, that feeling of safety can be hard to achieve. How do you talk to your kids? What do you do following a traumatic event? Andrea Rogers from the Children's Center of Detroit is here with some advice. Good morning.
Good morning, Dina.
So we're talking a lot about what happened with the school shooting in Florida.
Yes.
But let's just broaden that a little bit and say that kids are exposed to a lot, and it can be something, an issue in your own family, in your community, on your street, in your town, or news coverage from events that happen far away. So how do we know, first of all, if a child is feeling a little anxious about some of these images?
Sure. At minimum, trauma is a deeply distressing event for a child. At maximum, it could be very unique. So there could be changes in sleep patterns. There could be a fall off in their work at school. They could be more withdrawn, or they could be more clingy. Whereas they were more independent before, they are less independent now.
I saw a documentary once about kids who deal with trauma in different places, and it changes their brain makeup almost and how they go through life. It has a profound effect on them.
That's one of the deep points about trauma. Trauma does change how the brain is wired. But one of the good things is that support that we give our children, that can also change. So there is a good part of it as well.
So what can you do besides talking to your kids, or maybe the better question is, how do you talk to your kids and get them to articulate how they're feeling? Because most kids have trouble coming up with the right words or expressing that.
Yes. One of the most important parts is to initiate the conversation. Sometimes we think if children aren't talking about it, that it doesn't bother them, out of sight, out of mind. So as parents, as caregivers, we want to give them the opportunity to ask them their thoughts about what they saw or what they may have experienced. And as a parent, our job is to protect. So we listen. It may be difficult to hear some of their fears, but as a parent, we want to listen to those and give them their full attention.
I feel like as parents too, we take a concern that a child has and we dismiss it, or we try and immediately remove it, eliminate it, trivialize it, which is right or wrong?
Well, it's hard, right? Because as a parent, you want what's best, and when they're having something difficult, we want to fix it immediately, and not always we can. So as a parent, we want to be honest about those things. There are things we don't know, and we want to be able to admit as a parent that we don't know and we don't have all the answers.
So admit what you don't know, but definitely emphasize what you do know, which is I'm going to make sure to protect you and keep you safe, or here's what, if kids are worried about going to school, here's what your school is doing to keep you safe, right? Find things that you can control.
Absolutely. What we want to do as parents is to let our children know that we are protecting them to the best of our ability. So discussing those ways that we are protecting them and keeping them aware is very important.
What sorts of things cause trauma when we talk about our children? I mean, can divorce, can that lead to kids struggling? And we know this is an extreme example. What we're showing video of right here can be difficult. But what's the spectrum of what causes kids to feel that? Well,
there's a huge spectrum. On one end, it could be something like the loss of a family member, a loss of a pet. It could be something that was witnessed, whether it was a shooting or something that happened to a loved one. It could be something very far away, such as the incident in Florida, because our children go to school every day. So it could be a huge spectrum of events, but the main part to know is it's something that deeply distresses the child.
So look for changes in behavior, look for sleep patterns, or maybe changes in schoolwork. Talk to your child, try and get them to express what they're going through, listen. And when do you know when you need to go get help?
Well, I'm at the Children's Center, and so our emphasis is all things children. Our passion is children. So if you think your child needs help, don't hesitate. We are there to assess. We are there to assist. So you can contact us directly at the Children's Center when you see those changes in behavior. You don't have to wait until it's for a complete amount of time. We want to be proactive in the beginning and jump in as soon as we can.
Okay, and it's the Children's Center there in Detroit where people can reach out to you. And you don't have, and you think if I'm taking my child to get help, that it would have to be a major problem, but start when the problem maybe is smaller and more fixable, right?
Yes, manageable.
Manageable. Good stuff. Andrea, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a quick break and come right back.